Welcome back to math-hacks.com, where we help you with math whether you just need to catch up or you want to get ahead. Today we're working on ratios, so let's get started. Ratios are math's way of comparing numbers. By the way, watching our video on fractions will help you with understanding this video. Ratios are when an amount is compared to another amount. For example, if you have 3 cats and 2 dogs, then your ratio of cats to dogs is 3 to 2, and that is shown as 3:2, or you could also write it as 3 to 2, as in you could actually write out the 2. If this were to remain constant, then you could say that if you have 4 dogs, then you should have 6 cats. This type of ratio is called an equivalent ratio. So this is how you go ahead and work out that if you have 4 dogs, then you should have 6 cats. So you already know that you have two dogs and 3 cats, and then you get 4 dogs. But for this to remain constant, then you will get some number, but we don't know what the number is yet. Well, you do because it's it over there, but in this case we're kind of pretending that we don't, and we're trying to figure out exactly what it is. So this is something I learned called the butterfly method, and it is that you wrap loops around these two numbers diagonally, and you wrap loops around these two numbers diagonally, and then you multiply those together. So you get 4 times 3, which equals 12. But then you have 2 times x, and you might think that's a little weird. How are you going to do that? Well, how you do that is you kind of group them together. So it'll look like this. It'll be 2x. And there's kind of like an invisible multiplication mark right here. But it's still there. These are still supposed to be multiplying together. It's just that we can't do that yet because we don't know what that is. And so what we'll end up with is 12 and 2x, and we put a equal sign between them. And so what we're trying to do is get the x alone on one side of the equation sign, and then on the other side there should be what x is. But what we have for now is 12 equals 2x. So the way to get x alone is we need to remove this 2. Now this 2 is being multiplied by this x. And so what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. And so we divide this whole thing by 2. And with problems like this, what needs to happen is what you do on one side of the equation, you have to do it on the other side of the equation. So you have to divide this by 2. And so 2x divided by 2 equals x, and 12 divided by 2 equals 6. And so what you end up with is 6 equals x. 6 is x. And so you could replace this x with 6. And that gives you your answer. A unit rate is one unit compared to another unit of a varied amount. For instance, miles per hour is a varied amount of miles for 1 hour, for every hour. This concept is especially useful when it comes to price. When you want to find the price for one item, and you use that in a ratio, it is called a unit price. Let's say that you find out that 6 apples in some random store cost $18. Here is how to find out what just 1 apple costs, which will be the unit price. So you've already got that ratio of 18 to 6. And and so now you're trying to find out what x to 1 is. We have an x there because we don't know what number is supposed to go there. We're trying to find that out. So you do the butterfly method again. Wrap loops around them and around them. Multiply them together. 18 times 1 equals 18. 6 times x equals 6x. You put a equal sign between those, and so you do the same thing as you did before. You divide it by, in this case, you divide it by 6, and you also divide the other side by 6, and so 6x divided by 6 equals x, and 18 divided by 6 equals 3, and so that will give you x equals 3. And so you could just replace this x with 3. And so this example shows that one apple will cost $3. So the bottom row shows the bottom row is talking about apples. Top row is talking about money. You're trying to find out how much money one apple costs. So let's say you're trying to, of course legally, make a larger version of a painting, and you want the size of the painting to go from being 15 inches to 25 inches tall. However, you don't know how wide to make it to stay the same shaped rectangle. The original painting is 30 inches wide. Let's see how to work out this problem. So you got the ratio of okay, so the top row will be tallness, and then bottom row will be width. And so here you have 15 to 30. Here you have 25 to x. So we're trying to figure out the width to make the new painting. And you have an equal sign here to show that they are the same. So it's just the same as the other ones. So you wrap the loops around these, multiply them together, so 25 times 30 gives you 750. 15 times x will give you 15x. And so you do the same as before. You divide this by 15 because of 15 there. And you also divide this side times 15 because you have to do the same thing on both sides. And so 15x divided by 15 will give you x. And 750 divided by 15 will give you 50. In this case, according to the example, the answer is 50 inches wide. And so the new painting should be 25 by 50. So, one final note. Ratios can also become fractions, decimals, and percents when needed. And when needed, those things can also go back into ratio form. Like for instance, this. These are ratios even though they look like fractions. For instance, you can tell how much percent one number is of another. Here's how. So, let's say you're trying to find out how much space 20 makes up 50, and you're trying to find that in percent. So 50 will be the whole, and in percents, 100 is the whole, and 20 is how much you're trying to find out fills up 50. And so you're trying to find out this number, which will be the percent. And you might have realized that whether it's 67, it will be like a percent in fraction form if you look at it in a fraction, and these two fractions will be equivalent if we do this correctly. And so it's very similar to fractions. Anyway, you probably know how to do this problem by now, so I suggest you pause the video, grab a piece of paper, and test out your knowledge by trying to work out this problem. Of course, you can go back in the video and try to remember how to do this problem. Okay, guys, done? Okay, so this problem, once figured out, will equal 40% if you have done it correctly. So, this lesson is pretty much finished. Of course, classic fireworks. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, please like and or subscribe. Specifically, if you're subscribing, you will get more math help over time, as it will show in your subscriber. Oh, I don't know what it's called. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a noob at YouTube. Anyway, if you would like to ask us a question or give a suggestion for a future video topic, please contact us with this email: pgodin1@stu.k12.wv.us. Thank you all for watching.